A concert of Hebrew songs would not be complete without including Shirei Eretz Yisrael, songs of the land. This is a core genre of Hebrew songs, mostly written in the early to mid 20th century by Jews who were fleeing pogroms and anti-Semitism in Europe to fulfill the age-old dream of returning to the land of Israel. Once there, they joined the small Jewish communities that had been living there since antiquity. Shirei Eretz Yisrael are nostalgic songs of love for the land, reflecting a deeply embedded cultural yearning for the Jewish ancestral home. The lyrics of these songs often refer to the challenges immigrants faced working the land, the daily routine of agricultural life, and the beauty of the natural landscape. Two of the pieces I will sing refer specifically to the Kinneret, the Sea of Galilee. These songs depict Israeli or Hebrew sounds through minor modes, Middle Eastern instrumentation, or their strong dance beat. Most of these songs are considered part of the Israeli folk song canon and have been performed as part of Shira B'Tzibur, a communal public singing, which is a secular ritual, that is still popular in Israeli society today. The first piece I'll share is Shir Eretz, Song of the Land, by Sasha Argov. Born in Moscow, Argov made his way to Mandatory Palestine in the 1930s, where he became one of the preeminent composers of modern Hebrew song. According to the National Library of Israel, Argov was influenced by an assortment of musical styles: classical music, European lieder, Russian folk music, French chanson, ballroom music, Latin American music, jazz, pop, and rock, and wrote in an unusually intricate musical language, which combined both popular and classical elements. Although occasionally very difficult to perform, his songs were so popular that they were considered an inseparable part of the collective consciousness and Israeli identity. Next, I'll share Mark Lavry's Kinneret. Born in 1903 in Latvia, Lavry had a successful career in Germany as a conductor, music director, and composer. In 1935, amidst rising fascism in Europe, he moved to Palestine. Here's a description of the move in his own words. I immediately felt that I found my spiritual homeland. Nowhere until arriving to Israel did I feel that grounded. I felt that I landed where I belong and that I found a place worth fighting for. I felt that the country inspired me as a composer and that here I wrote my best compositions. Kinneret is set to a poem by Avigdor HaMeiri and describes the miraculous, calm landscape that surrounds the Sea of Galilee. Lavry's flowing musical accompaniment mirrored the rhythm of the poetry and the rich word painting. The third piece in the set is by the influential and prolific songwriter Naomi Shemer, known as the First Lady of Israeli song. Shemer was born on the banks of the Sea of Galilee to immigrant parents from Vilna. Her name is ubiquitous with Israeli music to this day, and her compositions include such hits as Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, Jerusalem of Gold, Lu Yahi, May It Be, and Al Kol Ele, for all of these. Her piece, Hoshat HaEucalyptus, the Eucalyptus Grove, describes the passing of time as families build a life together, children grow up, wars are fought, all while the landscape remains seemingly unchanged. Finally, I'll end this set with Yehuda Sharet's Ve'ulai. Born in Ukraine, Sharet immigrated to Palestine in 1906. He won the Engel Prize for his Yagur Passover Seder service, a piece combining Jewish tradition with modern musical elements. Ve'ulai uses text by the Israeli poet Rachel Bluestein, who is considered the founding mother of modern Hebrew poetry. In the thousands of years that elapsed between the biblical poetry of Deborah the prophet and the early 20th century, we have almost no recorded Hebrew poetry by women. But in the 1920s, Rachel, along with a few other female poets, began to write and publish, initiating a trend that introduced new stylistic, linguistic, and figurative possibilities into Hebrew poetry. Thanks in part to the musical settings of several of her poems, Rachel has achieved the status of an eminent, beloved national poet.